Hi, my name is Michael.
I'm Micah.
This is part 5 in a series of help videos related to general computer problems you as students, staff, and parents may have.
Note that you should not perform any maintenance on district or school computers. These tips are for personal use only.
Let's get started.
Hey everybody, welcome to video 5 in the series. In this video we're going to be focusing on Microsoft Teams. So whether or not you're a student or a teacher, everybody knows Microsoft Teams can be a bit of a pain in our daily lives, whether or not it's glitching or just being a general nuisance. So today I hope to remediate some of these problems just by showing you a couple tips. Now, if you have installed Teams and you kind of know what you're doing, you can skip on to a later time in this video. But for people who haven't, I'm just going to show you how to install Teams right off the bat. So if you go to your search engine, I'm using Google Chrome. It's really just as simple as searching Microsoft Teams. Should autofill for you. And then clicking the first one that comes up. Now, an ad may come up. Don't press that. That might take you to a completely irrelevant page. But generally, if you go down, the second link will be what you're looking for. So you can choose to sign in first or press download now. I'm just going to go ahead and press download now as we can sign in later. If you're on desktop, download for desktop, download for mobile. If you are on a phone, it'll take you right to the App Store and then you just go from there. But as we're on PC, we're going to press download for desktop. Now you don't want Teams for home or small business unless that is what you're doing. But given that you're probably a teacher, student, or a parent, you just want to press Teams for work or school. So that's going to bring it up in the launcher here. So it's going to bring it to your downloads. You just want to press on this arrow, open when done. Now, it may take a minute depending on how good of a PC you're using. You just want to wait for that to open. I'll be back in a moment. All right, so Teams just finished downloading. Now, it's going to take you to this welcome page here. If you are using a later version of Teams, or if you are downloading a later version of Teams, it may look a bit different. But regardless, just go ahead and press Get Started. Now it's going to take you to the sign-in page here. Now you just want to enter your school email, your password and whatnot. I will leave an example right down to the bottom there that'll show you if you are an ASDS, this is what it looks like and this is what you need to be doing. So once I've entered my email, I'm just going to skip to afterwards. Once you've entered your email, it will take you to this sign-in screen if you're using the same version. You can allow your organization to manage your device. I personally don't just because it's my own computer. So regardless what you choose, just click that and then click OK. All right, and now we're good to go. So if we press done here, it will take a moment and it will launch Teams. All right, so now that we're in Microsoft Teams, the first thing you may notice are these several icons here on the left side. Now these are the features that you're going to be using within the application, and this as a whole is known as your toolbar, or specifically known as your navigation bar or navigation panel. The first feature that we're going to be taking a look at is the Teams feature. The Teams feature is where you're going to be able to see any teams that you're currently enrolled in. And a team is simply just a class or a group of people. Much like you go to class in real life, that would be considered a team or a sports team or anything like that. That's really just what a team is. It's where a group of people can go together, share messages, share files. So for example, I'm just going to quickly go into the My Morning Announcements team just for the sake of showing us around. Now, when we go into a team, the first thing you're going to notice is a center column. This center column is the chat, and it's where your teachers are going to be sending you information, sending you messages, maybe sending you a reminder. You're also able to post files. You're also able to respond to messages or do anything you would like in a messaging app, let's say like Facebook Messenger or just iMessage. Now, if you look on the left side here in this leftward column, you'll see it says channels. Now, this is the general chat. If there were another chat, let's say perhaps you're in a calculus class, you're going to have one chat, let's just say pre-calculus A, and then the other chat is pre-calculus B. So you'd have one here, and then directly under it would be a separate chat. They're just like different categories of chats, but they both serve the same purpose. They're just subcategories. If we go up to here, you're going to see a couple different features. Firstly, we have our class notebook. This is where teachers can go in and use different applications. I believe this is OneNote up here, which can be used as a whiteboard where students can share ideas in sort of a collaborative space, or they can share notes as well. Under Assignments tab here, this is where you're going to find any assignments that have been assigned for any given team. It's where you'll also be able to find teachers who have returned assignments or anything related to that. Right under it, we have grades. This is similar to assignments in the fact that any assignments that you get returned and have been marked, their grades are going to show up here along with their due date, their status, their feedback, and any points that you may have earned. Alright, so next up is the activity feed. Just like any other social media, Teams has notifications. It has a feed which is just linear on the left side here, where you can see I have some assignments who have been returned, I have a classmate who has responded to a chat in a class, I have someone who added me to a team, or a teacher who added me a team. That's all going to be showing up here, and this is really going to be receiving your notifications if you're on a phone. This is where they will be coming from. So the Assignments tab is really similar to the Assignments tab that we saw within the Teams feature itself here. But for this one, it's simply assignments that you have over any team which you're in. So let's say I'm in 5 teams, all assignments that I'm assigned from 5 teams would show up right in this tab. You can see there's the Assign tab, which shows any outstanding assignments I have left to do, and the Completed tab, which shows a history of any assignments I've completed throughout the year. Now, if I go down to this assignment here, just by clicking on it, I'm going to see a couple things. Firstly, I'm going to see the name of the assignment. Directly under that is going to be a due date, and then under that is instructions which your teacher has given you for an assignment. We also have reference materials, which is where teachers can upload PDFs or Word documents for any assignment information they may need. So let's say it's a rubric or it's just a manual that students may need to complete the assignment. That would show up here, and you can simply access those just by clicking on them. Right under that, we have My Work, which as a student, this is where I'm going to be attaching any documents that I may need to complete the assignment at hand. For example, you can submit documents through OneDrive. You can submit them through a link, which would be perhaps a Google Drive or a Google Doc or anything like that. You can also make documents directly within Teams. However, I wouldn't recommend doing this, as sometimes saving them within Teams can cause problems, but most commonly anyways, you're just going to be uploading from this device. So this will just simply take you to your File Explorer. We can go through your system directory, click on a file, plus open, and then it'll upload it right into your Teams here. However, if you're trying to submit, it would show up right under this My Work category, and then once you're ready to submit, you can press the Turn In button in the top right. Now mine says Turn In late, as this assignment was pushed back as there was a snow day. But for you, it would just show Turn In late, and then once you press that button, a little animation with bright colors and whatnot would show up in the top right, and that will let you know that your assignment has submitted and you're good to go. Up next is the chat feature. Now this is just something you're going to be using when you want to get in contact with a teacher directly. Perhaps you're not in their class, or perhaps you simply just don't want to clutter the chat within a team with any message that you're going to be sending them. So that's what you would use this for. It can also be used for assignments. Your assignments are going to show up in the chat as well, any assignments you returned, and it can also be used for any groups that you have. So let's say your teacher forgets to put you in a group for a group assignment. You can come onto here, you can message your classmates and join a group and get it done that way. Now there are a couple of tabs up here. We have assignments, which is effectively the same thing that showed up in the chat. It's the same thing as the assignments feature that we had on the left. It's just integrated right in this feature as well. There's also the Abouts tab. You don't really want to be looking at that too much. That's just some documentation about the feature itself. You can also go to here and you can search different people by name. So if you have a district directory or whatnot, if I were to search, let's say Evan right now, all of the Evans within my district would show up. If you want to make a new chat, you can go ahead, click the little mouse and pad button right there. It just looks like a square with a slash. And then you can type their name, their email. If you type in their name and they're in the same directory, for example, any teacher that you may have as a student, they're going to show up, and then you can go ahead and type your message here. When typing a message, you have a couple of features. You can format the message. So if you click on that, that's just going to give you the italics, the underline, the bold. We have attaching any file, simply like you're uploading an assignment. We also have some different bullet point components. You're really not going to be looking into that too much. We have emojis, GIFs, stickers, and we have scheduling a meeting. Perhaps you're a teacher and you want to make sure that your meetings are overlapping within your classes. You can message another teacher and do that here. Similarly, the calls feature isn't going to be used too much. You can use it if you want to video call or voice call a student or a teacher. You can simply type their name in and then press call. You can also see any incoming calls, any missed calls, or any voicemail. You can also find contacts, your personal contacts. This will not show any directory contacts you have, but if you do have any personal contacts associated with you on your device, those will show up right here. It is important to note, if you have called someone and they can't hear you and you can't hear them, just check down here to make sure your device is set to the right one. If you go to device settings, and this is on your main page, your main Teams page, and the little cog in the top right, go to your devices, change your audio devices and your microphone just to make sure you are connected to the right device. Lastly, the files feature is something that you might not use too much, but if you do find trouble finding a file or someone sent you a file which you can no longer find, you can find that in the recent files here, which will show any file which has recently been accessed through Microsoft Teams. Similarly to downloads, any files that you download will show up here. Now, you may have noticed these 3 dots in your navigation pane. Now, this is just a way to import apps that aren't native to Microsoft Teams. I wouldn't suggest tampering with this too much, as a student or teacher, you're not really going to be using it, but if you are interested, feel free to go on to Google or your search engine and just search up how to import apps into Microsoft Teams, and then this is what will come up. They're effectively just plugins if you're familiar with it, but if that confuses you, don't worry too much, and we'll just move on. Alright, just to finish off the video, I've gotten Michael to go ahead and call me, so we're just going to hop into a meeting so I can show you how to fix a really common error that may happen. You can explore the meetings on your own time, or the features of the meetings. There's just several buttons up here. Show participants, you have your chat, you have your mic, and you have your share content. If you go into a meeting and your mic isn't working, let's say the other person can't hear you or they can't see you, the first thing you want to check is to make sure that you have these 2 indicators up here unchecked. That'll make sure that your mic and your camera will actually be coming through if they are connected and the input device is set properly. Now you can see here it says Teams can't hear you. Now this is because my device setting is actually wrong. If this doesn't show up, I'm just not going to click this for the sake of the example. You can press these 3 buttons and go to device settings. You can see down here that you have your microphone input and your audio your audio output. Now, because Teams can't hear me, I'm just going to go ahead and press the new input device, and shortly in a second it will update, and yep, you can see my mic start coming through there. That's really all you need to know. Any other errors would be system-based, and you can just use Google. There are lots of answers that will come up if you have any other errors, and that doesn't fix it. So that's been the Teams video. I hope it was helpful, and I hope you have a good one. Bye.